About a Forest View woman who was found strangled in her car in Chicago. Charisma Ehresman was a nursing student. Chavez's number and surveillance video shows the two entering Chavez's.
A promising life cut short. Charisma Ehresman, a 20-year-old nursing student, disappeared into the night, never to be seen alive again. Her car abandoned, her body found. But the mystery remains: who killed Charisma, and what dark secret are they hiding? Charisma Ehresman was born in 2001 in a small town filled with big dreams. From a young age, she radiated warmth and kindness, qualities that shaped her desire to become a nurse. Family and friends remember her as the girl with an infectious smile, always willing to help, always putting others before herself. Her father, eyes glistening with emotion, shares she was fiercely independent. Charisma worked 2 jobs, juggling school and everything else, all on her own. She was unstoppable. Charisma was driven, a young woman determined to make her mark in the world. She had ambition, a heart full of hope, and a future that seemed limitless. But beneath the surface of her bright future, no one could have predicted the dark twist her life was about to take. The path she was on would soon be cut short in the most devastating way. On the evening of January 23, 2022, Charisma Ehresman left her home in Forest View at approximately 10:17 p.m. Clad in her favorite jacket, she stepped into her trusty red Ford Fiesta, ready to embrace the world. What began as a routine outing quickly spiraled into a chilling mystery. As she drove through familiar streets, little did she know that her life was about to take a harrowing turn. Charisma was known for her responsible nature. She never strayed far from her loved ones. But that night, something felt different. Her laughter faded into the shadows, and her vibrant spirit vanished without a trace. Her father, looking distraught, recalls, "We knew something was wrong when she didn't come home." Charisma wasn't the kind to just disappear without telling anyone. She always called, always checked in. By the next morning, the unanswered calls painted a bleak picture. Friends and family felt an unease settling in their hearts, a gnawing fear that something terrible had happened. As the sun rose, the search for Charisma began, intensifying with every tick of the clock. Her loved ones clung to hope, but the dark reality of the situation was setting in. What happened to Charisma that night? On January 24, 2022, as the sun rose over Forest View, a community gripped by fear began to mobilize. The police wasted no time, launching an immediate investigation into Charisma Ehresman's mysterious disappearance. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, interviewing family and friends in a desperate attempt to piece together her last known movements. The atmosphere was heavy with worry as loved ones recounted Charisma's habits, her routine, and her vibrant personality. Each detail was crucial. The police combed through every scrap of information, searching for any sign of her whereabouts. Meanwhile, Charisma's bright red Ford Fiesta became a focal point of the investigation, a vital clue that could unlock the mystery of her disappearance. But as days passed, the situation grew increasingly dire. No one had seen or heard from her. She had vanished into thin air. The sense of urgency mounted as search parties formed, scouring local parks, streets, and even nearby woods, hoping to find any trace of Charisma. The community came together, fueled by a shared resolve to find their missing daughter, sister, and friend. With every moment that ticked by, the fear loomed larger. What had happened to Charisma? And where could she possibly be? On January 28, 2022, 5 agonizing days after Charisma Ehresman vanished, the search took a devastating turn. A red Ford Fiesta was discovered parked on West Iowa Street in Chicago. The car, once a symbol of hope, now stood as a grim reminder of her disappearance. As investigators approached the vehicle, their hearts sank. Inside, they found Charisma's lifeless body, brutally taken from her family and friends. Strangled and smothered, her vibrant spirit extinguished far too soon. Her grandmother's voice trembled with grief as she reflected, she had so many dreams, but all of that was taken away. This tragic loss left a gaping hole in the hearts of those who loved her, dreams unfulfilled and a future stolen in an instant. But lingering questions hung in the air. Who could commit such a heinous act? And how had Charisma ended up in this desolate place, miles from home? The investigation took on new urgency as detectives raced to uncover the truth behind this brutal crime. Each lead could reveal a hidden darkness lurking just beneath the surface of a seemingly quiet community. In the aftermath of Charisma Ehresman's tragic discovery, investigators meticulously sifted through her phone records, desperate for any clues that could lead them to her killer. It wasn't long before they uncovered a crucial piece of the puzzle. The last person Charisma had contacted was a man named Richard Chavez. At just 24 years old, Chavez was no stranger to law enforcement. He carried with him a dark and troubling history. As detectives dug deeper, they unearthed alarming details about his past that raised suspicions. Could this man, with a shadowy reputation, hold the answers to unraveling the mystery behind Charisma's untimely death? The walls seemed to close in around him as investigators began to connect the dots. Was he merely a person of interest, or did he play a more sinister role in this tragic story? As the investigation intensified, the stakes grew higher. Each new revelation pushed the detectives closer to a chilling conclusion, but the truth remained just out of reach, elusive and haunting, like the vibrant life that Charisma once led. Richard Chavez was no stranger to the law. His record painted a disturbing picture. Already on the police radar for DUI and various offenses, he seemed to walk a fine line between charm and danger. Investigators learned that he had met Charisma through an online dating platform, and their budding relationship quickly took a dark turn. Chavez soon became the prime suspect in her disappearance. With each revelation, the web of deception grew thicker. The last call Charisma made was to Chavez, a detail that sent alarms ringing through the investigation. As investigators scrutinized his account, they found inconsistencies that raised more questions than answers. One investigator stated, his story didn't add up. We had to dig deeper. Had Charisma unknowingly walked into a deadly trap set by someone she thought she could trust? The chilling possibility sent shivers down the spines of those searching for the truth. With Chavez at the center of their investigation, detectives knew they needed more than just circumstantial evidence to build a case. The clock was ticking, and every moment brought them closer to uncovering a terrifying reality. On February 1, 2022, investigators made a breakthrough in their search for the truth. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's camera captured a haunting scene, Richard Chavez with Charisma the night she disappeared. The grainy images showed them together, laughing, seemingly at ease as they approached her car. As the video played back, it revealed a timeline that contradicted everything Chavez had claimed. Hours later, he was seen parking her red Ford Fiesta on West Iowa Street, a chilling twist that raised new questions. How could someone who professed to care for her leave her vehicle in such a desolate area? This footage painted a clear picture. Chavez had lied. The investigation took a darker turn as the implications of this evidence sunk in. Charisma's warm smile was now juxtaposed against a grim reality, leaving investigators racing against time to piece together the puzzle of that fateful night. Who was this man that Charisma had trusted, and what had really happened in those final moments? The stakes were higher than ever as the truth began to unravel, exposing a chilling tale of betrayal and deceit. As the investigation intensified, the walls began to close in on Richard Chavez. On February 2, 2022, police arrived at his doorstep, their determination palpable. With mounting evidence, they took him into custody, handcuffing him as he protested his innocence. In a startling turn, Chavez claimed that his night with Charisma had ended on good terms, that there had been no foul play. But the reality told a different story. The police discovered scratches on his hands, wounds that contradicted his account. The evidence hinted at a struggle, a desperate fight for survival that Chavez could not explain away. Each mark told a tale of chaos and conflict, raising suspicion about the true nature of their encounter. Despite the arrest, Charisma's family remained in limbo, grappling with heartbreak and uncertainty. They were desperate for answers, longing for justice in a world that felt irrevocably changed. As the investigation unfolded, they wondered, would Chavez's confession ever reveal the full truth behind Charisma's tragic fate? The search for justice was only beginning, and the family's anguish deepened with every passing moment. February 23, 2023, marked a pivotal moment in the pursuit of justice for Charisma Ehresman. As Richard Chavez stood before the judge, the gravity of the charges loomed over him: first-degree murder and the attempt to conceal a felony. The courtroom buzzed with tension, a palpable mix of anticipation and heartbreak, as the Ehresman family took their seats, their grief evident in every expression. Chavez, once a figure of mystery, now faced the stark reality of his actions. His fate lay in the hands of a jury who would hear the harrowing details of Charisma's final hours. Charisma's grandmother, a beacon of strength, spoke for the family, her voice trembling with emotion. "You took the most precious soul we had. How could anyone do such a thing?" Her words echoed throughout the courtroom, resonating with all who were present, a haunting reminder of the void left in the wake of Charisma's tragic death. As the trial unfolded, the Ehresman family clung to hope, each day bringing them closer to the truth they desperately sought. Would justice be served, or would Charisma's memory fade in the shadows of a flawed legal system? Even now, Charisma's family continues to grieve, holding on to memories of the daughter and sister they lost far too soon. They gather at her memorial, a poignant reminder of her vibrant spirit. Her father clutches a framed picture of Charisma, his eyes reflecting the deep sorrow and pride he feels for the young woman she was. Charisma was not just a victim, she was a loving daughter, a future nurse, and a bright light in the lives of those who knew her. As they share cherished moments, her family emphasizes her dreams and ambitions, the potential that was stolen from them all. But alongside their memories lies an unsettling emptiness. They wait, still, for full justice, answers that have eluded them since that fateful night in January 2022. The haunting question lingers in their hearts: why was Charisma's life taken so soon? Each day is a reminder of the brutal reality they face, a painful search for closure in a world that feels irreparably shattered without her. As we reflect on the tragic story of Charisma Ehresman, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the impact one person can have on so many. Charisma was more than just a victim; she was a daughter, a friend, and a future nurse whose dreams were cruelly interrupted. Her story is one of profound loss, heartbreaking moments, and the relentless search for answers that continue to elude her family. Though her life was cut short, her memory lives on, urging us to seek justice for those whose voices can no longer be heard. We can only hope that, in time, the truth will emerge, bringing solace to a grieving family and honoring the beautiful soul taken from us far too soon. Thank you for joining us as we delve into this heartbreaking case. If you want to hear more true crime stories and stay updated on justice journeys, be sure to subscribe. Together, let's remember those who have been lost and continue to seek the truth.
Unfortunately for Watts, his grasp on the legal process seems spotty at best.
Do you want to talk to me about me, bond with me? What do you want to tell me?